Dr. Elmari Mulder Craig, what a wonderful pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you.
Let's go straight to it. What is a sexologist?
I think in essence it actually just means a sex expert or someone that does research or studies human sexuality and human sexual behavior. So that's sort of the basic thing. And then obviously from my perspective, you don't only work with the sexual part, you work with mind, body and soul and relationship. So in South Africa, well actually over the world, you can have a sexologist that's from a medical background or then from a psychology background, that would be a psychosexologist. And then you obviously you have your basic training and then you super specialize in sexology.
Women have this perception that a sexologist is when you are, when you want to have wild sex or when you have a big problem. What do you say about that?
Well, I think, I've been in private practice now 25 years, and I see people that come to see me, couples or individuals that want to enrich an already healthy sex life, or that actually have quite complicated problems or sexual dysfunctions. A woman who might be anorgasmic, who can't reach orgasm, or low libido, hyperactive sexual desire disorder, or a man with erectile dysfunction, or libido difference in the couple. And then I specialize specifically in women with sexual pain disorders, so pain during or after intercourse. And then obviously we also know that if you have sexual problems in a relationship, it spills over to the rest of the relationship, or if you have relationship issues, it spills over into your sex life. So I believe in a holistic and a multi-professional and multidisciplinary team, depending on what the problem is.
Is the pain always physical, or is it caused by, let's rephrase, is the pain always because of a physical cause, or sometimes it's actually not necessarily something wrong in the body?
I'm really so glad you asked that question, because I think one of the first things that I tell women who tell me I've experienced pain for 15 years, some of them, is that it's not in your head. Pain is pain. There's definitely some physiological problem. You have pelvic floor dysfunction, you have vaginismus, it's about muscles, it can be so many different things. But obviously, if you've experienced pain for such a long time, it will have an emotional effect and impact, and there will be anxiety and even depression and your libido. So very often a woman would come and see me and say, but I just don't want to have sex ever again, and I have a problem with my libido. And then if you scratch a little bit, you hear, oh, but it's because it's painful. So just as you're not going to burn your hand on a hot plate every day, your brain says, oh no, don't do that, it's painful. And it's so interesting because very often women don't even think they think it's just the way it's supposed to be, sex is painful. So, and for them to realize that, oh no, it shouldn't be painful. And then through a very specific process, we have huge success. And then after not even a very long time, to have pain-free sex suddenly. It's like a whole new world opens up and they can actually fall pregnant.
You told me just before we started the interview, there's many babies that came to this world thanks to you. And not that every woman wants to get pregnant, but I'm guessing that even pain while having sex is... And let's say if the couple has pregnancy, then they can't get pregnant very easily, but they need to have sex more often to get pregnant. Might be a big hurdle.
Absolutely.
So you actually help people even to fulfill their wish to get pregnant. Fantastic. What kind of help does a sexologist offer?
Well, I think, some of what we already touched on. And in men also we can add premature ejaculation or delayed ejaculation, men who experience pain. I also work with obsessive compulsive sexual behaviors. And then obviously, you know, you focus on the relationship itself. And it's not necessarily all sexologists that focus on everything, but I also believe in, and I love working with past trauma, people with, whether it's whatever the trauma is, but also specifically sexual trauma. And again, related to pain and even vaginismus, often we would find that there's an underlying body memory, you know, or something related to trauma.
Mm.
It's not always the case, but sometimes you need to go back.
And when you explain what sexology can help with, if you can, one can say it, what are the methods? Is it only conversation? Is it medication? A lot of women might be thinking, I don't know if I can do this. She's going to maybe, is my vulva going to be involved? Are we going to do exercises? Maybe just to demystify what is sexologist helping, what are the methods to help women and couples?
Very important question, and I think, you know, that's why I work within a multi-professional team, because sometimes you do need some form of medication. Especially if we work with pain, we have a specific cream that we prescribe, and even something that just slightly takes the edge off, because you can now imagine some of those women are quite anxious, you know, at that stage. But mostly you would come in and we would have a conversation, because first of all we need rapport, and you need to trust me. I call a spade, and then, you know, people usually after a short while they're comfortable, and sometimes it takes a bit longer, because very often trust is one of the biggest issues. If you think about past trauma, then it would be difficult to just come and sit here and talk to someone about a subject that we're not used to in South Africa, especially, I think, to really just talk about. So it does take some time sometimes to build rapport, and so much of it is around conversation, psychotherapy, permission, just to say it's okay, we can talk about it, and you're not the only one. I see so many other women every day with sexual pain, and suddenly it's as if a light goes on sometimes for the couple, because it's not just us, you know, because people don't talk about these things. So that's one thing. And then I give a lot of homework. I always tell them it's the best homework you'll ever get. So they get homework, and we use sensate focus therapy, and so it all depends on the problem. And sometimes we involve pelvic floor dysfunction specialist physiotherapist, and apart from psychotherapy, if needed, I would do clinical hypnotherapy to really go clinical hypnotherapy to really access those negative body memories and to help the body to release that.
Wow. Are couples coming mainly, or is it the women are being sent here? What do you see in your practice?
I think 20 years ago, women mostly were sent here.
Fix my wife.
Yes, she's got the problem. Fix her. And then I would very often say it's not about who's right or wrong or who needs fixing, because it's a couple's problem and issue usually. So these days I see individuals on their own, and then also couples, and there's a much better, I want to say, balance, that this is our issue and you need me and I need you, and we need to support each other to resolve this. But obviously often, and I think that's the frustrating part for me, clients or patients would have been to many other places before, and then when they get here, it's the trauma and the hurt in the relationship is quite bad. So then we first need to deal with that.